So I do get this question a fair amount. When do I need to go from a 3-inch intake to a 4-inch intake on my big turbo rotated Subaru setup? So we can see we've got a 35R kind of tucked down there. This is the full Perrin hot parts kit, Perrin intercooler. So the turbo sits pretty low. So putting a 4-inch intake on this is darn near impossible with fuel rails and everything else. So of course it's necked down from 4-inch on the inlet to 3 inches on this intake. This is not an actual Perrin piece, it's just a Perrin filter with a Perrin coupler. It's just a 3-inch 45-degree mandrel bent aluminum pipe that's been wrinkle red coated. But that's not the point. The point is, how much power can this actually flow? So we put this thing, it's on about E70 ethanol fuel. It's got pretty much all the supporting mods. It's still a street car, it's not a crazy setup. But the point is, what can it make? Well, on pump gas, this car made 500 horsepower. Pretty solid pump gas number. Again, not pushing it like crazy, but definitely making some good power. Put ethanol in it, put it up to about E70, like I said, and did some pulls, and I was running into kind of a funny limit where I couldn't get much more boost, and I wasn't really quite making the power I was expecting. It put down about 615 horsepower, which isn't shy or shabby or low, but it is, a pretty good setup. And I feel like this thing should be making a little bit closer to 700, even with the stock intake manifold and everything else. So I started looking at where are the restrictions, and I said, well, I wonder if this 3-inch pipe is really a restriction. So I just pulled this thing off, and let me show you what happened. So, sorry, 618 horsepower. I guess I've got smoothing turned off, so, but you can see it's still a pretty smooth graph for having smoothing 0. This thing just wants to flow, and it's a real smooth pull. So I pulled that intake off. This is with the filter on. I was peaking out at about 33 pounds of boost, but when we took that filter off, I didn't change anything with the tune at all. This is 100% the same. Same wastegate duty cycle exactly. Picked up 60 horsepower and 47 foot-pounds of torque. Sorry, I can't do math this morning. And 3.5 pounds more boost. So you can see that filter and 3-inch pipe was blocking that turbo's ability to pull in 3 pounds of boost. That's about 10% more airflow through the turbo, which yielded about 10% more power at the top as well. Pretty good gains off of a couple of pounds of boost, especially at this boost level on a car that is still, like I said, still stock intake manifold. Nothing wild on the heads. It's got some GSC stage 2 cams, but it's not a crazy setup. It's not a humongous turbo. It's a pretty small exhaust housing on that turbo as well, just to try to keep things street car-ish. So anyway, yeah, that's the results of that. And just a disclaimer, I don't recommend running the car without a filter on it on daily driving. You see a lot of people do it, but it will lower the lifespan of your turbo. It'll lower the lifespan of your intake valves. And generally, for normal driving, you want the air to come from a little bit of a cooler spot than right there. So your off-throttle response will probably suffer a little bit. But if you're just trying to make the power, trying to go down the racetrack, and you've got a setup there where the filter is restricting. Now it'd be cool if I could fit one to put a 4-inch intake with a big filter on it and see what the power difference is there. I'm guessing we'd see a lot closer to the same power that we have with the filter off. Anyway, there's other things you can do. You can get a turbo guard. It's a little kind of a little mesh screen that goes on the end of the filter. Those are surprisingly restrictive. They work well for keeping big things out of the turbo, but they're actually a pretty good, you look at how much surface there is on those screens that it's blocking, and you'd be surprised how restrictive they are. I've taken them off of cars making closer to 1,000 horsepower, like twin turbo LS stuff, pulled the turbo guards off and picked up 50 horsepower. So just things to think about. But what's 50 horsepower worth to you if your turbos are constantly sucking in small birds and children and shattering and causing problems there? So anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling now. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And I'll get more of these kind of videos up that just show like differences in different setups and little things that you can do to get the most out of your setup. So again, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you later.